Hey everybody, welcome back. Another Gravity Ace Dev stream is starting. Thanks for dropping by. Close this stuff. Hey there, welcome back. Thanks for dropping in. It is 6:45 a.m. in beautiful and sunny California today. And I'm going to stream for probably a little over an hour. Let's see what we can do today. I'm looking at my to-do list and I'm seeing it dwindle down, and it's making me feel good. I actually, some of these items left in the to-do here are pretty big, but like make all the levels. That's a big one. But it's definitely a much smaller list than it was. I'm feeling good. Last night I went through and moved some of the things that I thought were essential back to ideas, like this one and this one. And it's been a year since I've gone into early access, nearly a year since I went into early access, and this game just needs to be done at this point. So I'm unscoping it a little bit, and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to release this game soon, and it'll be on to the next thing. Maybe after a little break. We'll see what happens. So today, I kind of wanted to go on a little exploratory programming mission here to see how I could do an alternative way of doing level sharing. Look at that. And I was wondering, what if I just created a zip file or something that I could share around? And it looks like maybe I can. Save file system. I could make a new file format just for this, although that would be kind of annoying. It would be kind of annoying just because this isn't the way I intended it to work, and so I would have to write an importer exporter. Well, I guess that's what I would have needed to do anyway. It would just be slightly different. Where was that gzip thing? That's it? Ah, okay. Open compressed? What does this do? Opens a compressed file for reading. Open encrypted. That would be another way to do it. Can I encrypt? Not that I want to keep these things secret, but when you compress something, it tends to, or when you encrypt something, it also compresses it, usually, I think. I'm not seeing how I save a file. Close a file, get a line from a file, open a file. Oh, maybe it's these flags. Open compressed. Yeah, so I can, okay. So I open a file with a compression mode, and the mode would be write. Yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. Because if you look at let me show you the levels data structure I've got here. So the levels are actually saved in a folder. Each campaign gets its own folder. And then within the folder, you have a bunch of level data. And then there's some metadata as well. These are all just text files. Right, it's just a text file. That's all the levels that are in this campaign. This is the name of the campaign. And then an individual level, right? It looks like this. It's a level file version. This is like level metadata. This is, and then it's just a big list of all the things that are in the level, all the walls, all the, enemies, the player, everything. Right, so it's a pretty small format. It's 281 lines for this level. 4 lines for that. The whole thing, like this whole campaign, is 1 meg. Wow, is it really that big? It really is. 1.1 megabytes. So I could create a sharing format that just takes all of these files and concatenates them together. And then the importer would take them all and unconcatenate them. And I would just need to record the folder name, campaign name, the folder name, and the file names for each file, and then contents of each file. So it might look something like campaign folder name, could be like the first line, and then putting in these tokens is tricky, because what if one of these is in the file somewhere else? But I could just look for a whole line that looks weird like this. I mean, what are the odds someone would do this? And then I could have file, and then the contents of that file. Could be something like that. That would be pretty easy to make, I think. And then you could just give that file to somebody, and then they would import it into the game, and it would read this and convert it back into this. So you'd only have to share one file. Although then it kind of begs the question, like, why not just make this the actual in-game file format? Because if this were the in-game file format, I wouldn't actually need... I mean, this would change a little bit if this was the actual in-game format. But then I wouldn't need an importer-exporter at all. People could just copy the file, right? All of this would be one file, and they could just copy it and give it to somebody. And I wouldn't need the importer-exporter at all. I mean, I guess people can also just go in here and say, look, I'm going to zip this. and then give that to somebody. And then they drop it in here and unzip it. And there it is. They can play it. Is that onerous? Would that be terrible? Do you guys think? I just don't know. I mean, just doing that doesn't seem that hard. I could add a button. Let's do that first. Let's think about this. So if I went into the game, and I'm here in my level editor. Maybe a little button right here that says open folder. Let's do that. Let's do that real quick. Because I think that would be a nice thing to have anyway. Path label. Let's move you. Let's add. Let's add a button. Link button. Put it right here. Let's put you bottom left. My link buttons are a different color than these other buttons, or this label. Well, let's just leave it for now. If I like this, I'll do something about the theme. So here we'll do a pressed. All right. Let's rename this button. I don't like the name of this button. We shall call you open folder button. All right. Time to Google. Godot. How to open File Explorer. Shell open. What was it called? Godot shell. Oh, I can look it up here. Shell open. Okay. Okay, that's easy enough. So this is going to be, I have a variable for this already, I think. Where's level save path? Okay. Okay. I think that's it. Did it do anything? Yeah, it's fine. To convert, okay. Attempting to open a URL with user protocol, blah, 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 to convert a Godot specific system patches before opening it. Project settings globalized path. Why is globalized path in project settings? Returns the absolute native OS path corresponding to the localized path. The return path may vary. I guess it makes sense because these localized paths, resource and user, are project paths. So they put it in project settings. That's fine. Anyway, that's how it's done. I wonder if I use that anywhere else in here. Nowhere. All right. Let's try that again. Hey, look at that. Okay. So this is still kind of interesting, right? Because like, I mean, for one thing, if I create a new folder, new level, oh, it's just going to open everything every time. Actually, that's what I want, though. That's what I want. Yeah, I think as I was writing this, I'd intended it to go into here. But actually, I do always want it to come here, where all the levels are saved. But then you're like looking at it. So imagine you're a player, and you click that button, and you get this, and you're like, now what? I don't know. I think I'd rather have like an import-export here on this campaign organizer. Or maybe an import-export instead of new. I don't know, maybe you could open a file. No, that doesn't work. See, I'd have to change. I'd have to change these dialogues. And I think it'd be better if there was an import button. Import. And then you could browse to that file. If you did import, import, browse to the file, boom. It would open the first level in that campaign. And then if you wanted to open a different one, you would have it here. Your campaign would be here, and you could pick the level. Right, and then you wouldn't need the import anymore. And it would recreate the whole thing. Oops. It would recreate the whole imported file structure here. And you could throw away the import file. And then if there's an export button, it would do the opposite. It would say export, and it would wrap up all this stuff in here, create a file, and then give you a dialog and say, where do you want to save it? And you could save it anywhere. That's more explicit, I think, and easier to use. And if I did it that way with the import-export, then I wouldn't need to write any new... I wouldn't need to change my level save format or anything. I'm just writing this translation layer, I guess you'd call it. Hey, Robert. Hey, Leonard. Welcome back, guys. Folks, I gotta stop saying guys. Yeah, anyway. This is one of those things, one of those programming tasks that's like a chore. And I don't know if I'm going to like it until I do it. So I'm going to keep this because this is handy just to have. I've actually wanted this in the game for a while. You know, you're editing a level. I'm like, I want to get there because I want to, you know, do something with these files, you know. Just me personally. So I'm going to leave that. And let's go ahead and commit that because I'm committed. I have a feeling I'm in the wrong branch. Yep. What is this? Yep, that's fine. Oh, I worked on the control point a little bit. I zipped up the graphics a little bit over the weekend. All right, let's commit this to this branch. And then we're going to switch back to main, I think. Yeah. We're going to do that. Aborting, dismiss. All right, let's stash this. In case you didn't know, or you're new to Git maybe. Stashing is a way to just temporarily take whatever you're working on and just save it away like in a little hidey hole. So I have the stash. And then I can check out the main branch. And then I can merge in this work that I was doing. No. And then I'm going to unstash this. Actually, let's merge this one as well. I'm sick of working in all these separate branches. Alright, now I've got everything in main, and then I can apply my stash. Yeah, apply my stash. And I should have my, yeah, there it is, back again, right? So now I'm back on main. I have all my mobile turret stuff. I have my ice launcher, sound effects stuff, all back in main. And then I can push all of these back up to my repo. And Godot shouldn't have a freak out now because everything should be the same as it was. There she is. There she is. And there's my new art too, so I'm all in main. Eat plasma, alien scum. Oh, right. And then so then I wanted to commit this. Added a button for opening level save data folder to editor. Ba-boom. All right. And then I can drop this stash. I don't need it anymore. Okie doke. Yeah, all right. We're good. There's a little digression there with this stuff getting done, but all good. Yeah, let's see if we can write an exporter real quick. And I think I have a campaign class. Yeah. So this guy, I don't think I have a campaign scene. Yeah, I don't. It's just a class, and it gets loaded into as an auto load, I believe. Yeah. So I can just access this anywhere, right? And I do. So, like here, right? Campaign, get user campaigns, reset caches, blah, blah, blah. Get the campaign name, right? It's all here. So this campaign class is where I'll do my import and export data. Close you. Let's make you a little bigger. So in here I've got methods for, well, let's bring this back. No, this is good. This is good. I've got all of these methods, right, for getting campaign stuff, the level, all the different levels, the next level, progress indicators, names of things. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't actually interpret the level data. That's left up to the level editor. The level editor has the load and save functions for the level data. This is more like an abstract thing for managing the files around the level data in the campaign itself. Yeah, so that's fine. So if we had a function export create export campaign, and then I would want a level absolute path, I think. Do it this way. Campaign absolute path. That's what I want. I'm trying to remember how I wrote this because I just don't remember. And yeah, I just don't remember how I did this. Hey, Robert. Random tangent. You just had me looking up, hey guys, I always thought it was gender neutral and completely fine thing to say. It seems more complex than that, though. I need to modify my language. I feel old. Yes. Yes. I had that same thought. Exactly that same thought. But just, I guess, a little earlier than you did. I'd always thought that as well. But apparently there are many people that don't think that, and I get it. Guys, right? It's just not. Yeah. I do interact and work with a lot of women. And anyway. Right? It all makes sense. It all makes sense. It does. I'm very comfortable saying y'all and folks anyway. I say those words all the time. I grew up in, I learned to speak. My formative speaking years were in North Carolina, in Greensboro, which is outside of, God, what's the big town? I think it's outside of Raleigh. Anyway, sometimes my North Carolina comes out and I'll say y'all and hain't and the bee's knees. Yeah, y'all's good. I like y'all. Hey, Slacks. Welcome back, buddy. How you been? How was your weekend? Yep, exactly right, Leonard. It depends on who you talk to. But I don't think so. Right? Just avoiding conflict. Y'all. I don't think anybody has any arguments against y'all. Yeah, it was a good weekend. I made a start on my table. I got the frame all cut, which was fun. Did a bunch of what do you call them? Little cutouts and stuff, so the wood can notch together. I don't know the technical term for that stuff. And got the frame all built. Went out and bought some oil yesterday, some tung oil, to coat it all, slather it on there. And then I just need to cut the slats for the top, and it's going to go together nice. I should be able to finish it next weekend, no problem. And I also started on a toolbox. I built a little toy toolbox for my niece, and it's very cute. I made her a little hammer and a little box with a handle, and I just got some paint for her yesterday. I'm going to paint that tomorrow, probably. It's nice to have a hobby where you can make something real that you can actually touch. Not that games are bad, or software in general, but you can't touch it. You know, it's hard to explain to people, and you can't give it to them. You know, you can't wrap it up and hand it to someone. They can't eat it. It doesn't nourish them like making bread or something. There's a lot of redeeming or good qualities about making something physical, and I enjoy that change from software. But then, you know, halfway through any project where I'm building something, I'm like, ugh, why don't I stick to software? This is a pain in the neck. Washington, say y'all. You mean D.C., right? Or do you mean Washington State? Because I can see that in D.C., but maybe not in Washington. Washington State wouldn't expect people to say y'all there. Really, Washington State. That's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that. For some reason, I think Washington State is like California, basically. And hardly anybody here says y'all. All right. So let's copy this. And I'm just going to copy it down here. I'm not going to use all this stuff. But let's see what we can work with here. So let me write out some pseudocode first. So that what we want to do is open a new file. So we need a file name. Open a new file with export file name. And then we'll start writing to it. So then we'll write out the campaign folder name. Then iterate Oh, then write the campaign meta, then iterate through all levels and write each level. Then close the file and return success. Most people watching don't actually like going to Seattle. Yeah, I get that. I mean, most people who aren't from California, I think. Hey, Saltoons, thanks for the follow, buddy. I think most people who aren't from California kind of think California is either Los Angeles or San Francisco, and that's pretty much it. I don't think people from not here think of it in a different way, really. Ooh, look at that nice red beard. And we've had, it's funny, we've had visitors. If you don't know, so California is a very large state. It's 7 hours to get from LA to San Francisco by car, and that's only halfway. And then there's a whole Northern California above San Francisco that nobody ever talks about except when it's on fire. And we've had people visiting, and they're like, "Hey, so we're gonna go visit San Diego tomorrow, and then we're gonna go up to San Francisco the day after that." And we're like, "Are you high? Do you realize how far away that is?" And they don't realize how far it is. They just think everything is right here. But I guess the difference between Seattle and Los Angeles is, I think Los Angeles has something like 10 million people in it, which is like a quarter of the state within like a 40-mile radius. And then there's everything else. So it's kind of fair to think Los Angeles is California, I guess. Anyway, I digress because I don't want to write this. You guys see me procrastinating? Oh, Godot is cool. You just started using it. Nice. And I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I'm glad you like Godot. I'm glad you like Godot. If you have any questions, there's a lot of Godot experts here. Let us know how we can help you out. But yeah, I like Godot too. What are you coming from? Were you using Unity before or something else? Alright, so we need to open a file. Let me open this guy because he has some... Oh, no, I don't actually. You know what? I don't have any file open and close functions because what I'm using typically is this config file, which is a built-in class. And config file knows how to open and save itself. So I don't actually have any very explicit file open save stuff. So that's fine. I'll just write some new stuff. So I want to get a file handle probably. So I'll do F. Why not? Equals. All right, I'm already in the weeds. Okay, let's do that, and then we'll do output equals f dot. I don't like this. Export file dot open, and then we want this to be the path, and we're going to do it for writing. And so this method, I'm just going to say, give me a campaign path to export, give me a file name to export it to, and it's going to just do it. And any checks I need to make sure, like if I want to warn the user, look, that file already exists, you sure you want to overwrite it? Or that directory isn't real or whatever, I'm going to do those before I call this function, I think. So right now I just want to get the export working, and then we can worry about all that other stuff later. Is Cheese streaming right now? What time in Australia? Tell him he needs to get to sleep. If he's still on when we're done here, remind me and we'll go raid him. Why is this have an underscore? What the heck was this? Oh. Because the underscore isn't actually part of the variable name. Underscore is a way, it's a hint to Godot to tell it, ignore this input parameter. It doesn't actually, yeah, okay. I don't know why it put the underscore there. Maybe I typed it by accident. So we got this export file. We're creating the file. We create it. We open it. It's open for writing. I assume that this is going to return some kind of error message. Yeah, it returns an error. Okay. So I want it to be okay. So this isn't actually so I'm going to do if, let's be more explicit. No, let's do it this way. If not equal okay. What does it return? Error dot okay. Okay. Right? Error isn't in the global scope. Error isn't declared in the current scope. Error not equals okay. Oh, it's just okay. Okay. Let's use that pattern. Let's do var error. And then we'll say if error dot if error not equal okay. There. Yeah. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to take all of these files. So in the level editor, my level editor saves files in this levels folder, and each campaign can have multiple levels. Each campaign gets its own folder. And then in the campaign, there's all the different levels and a config file. So I'm trying to write a new file format and an export format that takes all of this and this folder name and creates a new file from it that I can export and import. And when people import it, it'll recreate the file structure. And when they export it, it'll save the file to wherever they like, and they can email it to their friends or put it on a website or whatever they want to do. I don't care. Hey, Max. Hey, everybody. Welcome, Max. He's making a game called Flock of Dogs, flockofdogs.com. You should go check it out. You can actually do a compression. There's open compressed, and then that takes an extra parameter for the compression type. You can use gzip, fastlz, deflate. There's a bunch of different ones. And then there's also an encrypt. right? Which is, I think, would make it effectively smaller, but I don't know. I think we'll experiment with these once I get to it. Open, export file name. Wow, these parens got all effed up. All right. So this creates a new file object. Let's call this just export. And export. Let's call this. Whoa! Hey, Valiant Cheese. Hey, Valiant Cheese viewers. Thank you. I was just telling these guys that if you're still up, because it's like 2 in the morning there, right? If you were still up in a few minutes, we were going to raid you. But I guess you're going to bed now. Smart man. 12:30 in the morning, yeah. Well, welcome, everybody. Today we are doing some Godot engine game development. I'm making a 2D game. Let me show you guys the trailer in case all you new folks haven't seen it. All right, yeah, GravityAce, gravityace.com. Go check it out if you haven't. It's in early access now, coming to not early access soon. And one of the tasks on my list was to build a level exporter. So there's a level editor in the game, and everybody can create their own levels. And they're created in a campaign like this with all the level data. And now what I'm trying to do is write a quick little importer-exporter for the level data format so that people can get one file and they can share it with their friends or do whatever they want with it. I'm kind of experimenting with this a little bit to see how it feels. But I think it's feeling right. And I'm just going to write a very simple exporter. And this is how far I've gotten so far in an hour because we've been procrastinating. Oh yeah, thanks for dropping that link, Slacks. Valiant has streamed it a couple times. I do appreciate that, yeah. Fixing bugs. Fixing bugs in a B game. Ha 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 ha. I'm glad to see you're still working on that game. I mean, I know you're not working on it full time. You're probably not adding a bunch of new features, but you know, it's nice that you're kind of still supporting it, and yeah, maybe there'll be a Hive Time 2 someday, a sequel. All right, I've got about 20 minutes here, so let's get down. Let's get down to business. So we open the file, and then we check. If it's not okay, then just quit. Return false. Then we're renaming this. Let's call this file. Call this file. So I guess file's going to have a write. Yep, it does. All right. So we want to write file.write. Ooh, I wonder if this appends a new line. How am I not seeing this? Open, store string. That's interesting. There's a lot of different methods in here that I don't know what they do. Store line. Okay. Store string. What does store string do? appends a string to the file without a line return. Okay. Store line appends a line to the file followed by a line return character encoded as UTF-8. Okay. And what does... Okay. And I'm guessing write is something much lower level. Was there even a write? There's not. Is this thing lying to me? Oh, yeah, okay. So I want store string or store line, and I'll say campaign and get campaign key or ID? I can't remember. What does this return? Yeah, okay, that's what I want. What is campaign key? Oh, okay. All right. I was just telling everybody, you know, like when you're working on this stuff, you know, you write a lot of code. I don't know how much code is in this game, but let's see real quick. No. How do we count? Oh, rats. Well, forget it. This is more procrastination. There's a lot. There's a lot of code. And I some of this code I write it, you know, and I haven't touched it in a long time. So part of coming back to an old file like this is you have to kind of teach yourself again what it does and how it works, and what all the methods mean. And you know, for some of these, like I wrote no documentation, but I can see what it's doing, and it's fine. It's all fine. So we'll store that, and then we can do file.close at the end, right? And return true. That's that and that. All right, so now we want to copy a file. I wonder if there's a function. Copy. There's a directory copy. Node copy, engine copy. Not quite what I want. Read. Load. That's not quite right. I kind of want a function that will just load an entire path, or load an entire script file into a string. There may not be such a thing. In file, we've got a bunch of methods. Get path, get position, get real, get var. What does that do? Oh, it does some serialization, deserialization. It's interesting. Get buffer, get line, get as text. Returns the whole file as a string, get as text. All right, let's do that. So, this will be Now I need a separate file. Let's call this a file reader. And then we'll say var meta or text equals file reader dot. No, we'll do var error. Nope. Error equals file reader dot open. I must have a method for getting the meta. There it is. I don't think we're going to need this stuff. I'm going to delete this. Right? If error not equals okay, abort. I'm just going to abort whenever it feels like it. Whenever it feels like I should. Yeah, past me doesn't like future me. Past me doesn't care at all about future me. Right now, I can tell you right now, I don't care. I don't care about me from 2 weeks from now. All right, so if I was able to open that and it worked okay, then I can say let's rename this again. Let's call this output. So we would write output dot store string file reader dot get as text. Yep. And then file reader dot close. There's the campaign meta, and let's define a separator. And let's do this. Oops. And then we'll do output.storeLine separator. So we do this pattern again to iterate through each of the levels. So equals something for, right, we'll do something like this. This isn't correct, but we'll do something like this. So this is what I need to fill in. And I have, right, I can give it a path, and it gives me, what does it give me back? Get all the levels in the campaign given by an absolute campaign path. Perfect. Returns all those level absolute paths. Okay. That's basically what I want. So this will be right. Yeah. And we want a delimiter. We're going to write that separator here. And Yeah, let's do that like that. And then we want to actually output one more thing here. This would be get level. Maybe it's get level key. No. Level name? No. I'm doing a bunch of string manipulation in here for these path names, which is a little annoying. So I think this would be what I want to put here is the level file name, right? And then put something here, and I think this is going to be the level absolute path. There's got to be a better way to do this, but I don't know what it is right now, and I'm just going to write it, and then I'll fix it later. Level file name. Level file name. Oh, actually, you know what I can do? I can just do campaign absolute path. Yeah. Yeah, right? Okay. And then I'll close that, and then I'll close the output, and then I'll return true. Let's call this thing and see what happens. So as a test, we'll call it right here, campaign.export get campaign from level path. Current level path, and then we'll save it to home John downloads test text. That's where we'll save it. Let's watch the sparks fly. So that test method is attached to this. When I click this, yep. Oh, this is wrong syntax. That should be like that. And like that. Why is this red? Because this is why. Open. Right, I need a mode. That's what I want. It's, look at it, look at it, look at it. It passes in this, it does it with an underscore. This mode, why? If I just do the complete here, it's kind of weird. All right, let's try it again. Now it can't find it. Look at it. This is a bug, right? I hit autocomplete. It tells me use the one with the underscore, but then when I run it, it says there's no such thing as an underscore file. That seems like a bug. Again. All right, let's see what it saved. Did it save anything? Here we go. It created a file. Maybe, oops, maybe because it already existed, it was like, I'm not going to overwrite it because the file mode was wrong. So let's try it again. This time it wrote nothing. I have no errors. Oh, this shouldn't be read. Oh my lord. You guys probably caught this, and I am not reading the chat. Hey, all right. So look, we've got the campaign. We've got the campaign folder name. Then it gives us our separator. We've got the metadata. There's no separator. It's missing. And then it's got the first level. Search for that. Second level. Third level. Fourth level. Fifth level. I think I want to erase this slash. All right. This is good. This is good progress. I'm missing a separator here after meta. Right here. And then I've got all my levels, and I want to do a... let's do this. There must be a directory separator, right? Or path separator? Maybe it's in string? I know there are some path manipulation functions. Let's try it that way. And I think they're in string. Get baster, get base, get file. Okay, this is what I want. So rather than do all this nonsense, I do level absolute path dot get file. And this can actually be, oh god, let's do this. I keep rewriting this. String dot get file. That should work, and it's platform independent. I'm gonna scroll back and check the chat real quick. Robert, you were way ahead of me. How is string manipulation for path names going to manifest in Windows versus Linux? It is a problem, but in the string class, there are a bunch of file manipulation functions for appending and unappending and getting file names and base names and all that stuff. And it's all platform independent, and those are safe to use. So that's what I use. In GD script, yeah, for most of those IO stuff, you can use // for everything, right? Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, they're smart about slashes, so that's good to know. That's good to know. But this is easier, I think. Just give me the file name. That's all I want, really. Let's try this again, and if I am correct, I think it's going to just overwrite the one that we have there now. Right? It should just overwrite that when I click this. And there it is. So now I should have these separators. So there's my campaign folder name, the metadata, and then each level. Yeah, that's not going to be too bad. So this ends up being, really, only 48K? Is that right? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, 48.6. 48.8, because the separators and whatever. So all these little test levels end up being 48K, which is very small. It's tiny. That's easy to transfer around. Let's try one of those other methods. Let's try for the output. Let's try open encrypted. No, let's try open compressed. Because I'll bet you this will get a lot smaller. And let's use that. And again, it's putting this underscore, which is incorrect. And then we'll go back to our editor, and let's make a GZ file. Let's make a .gravity file. Ooh, fun. Export.gravity. But then people will be like, what's a gravity file? It's a gzip file. Just rename it and you can open it. So now I can do this again. And in downloads, I have a gravity file. Look at that. It's 21K now. So 48 to 21. So it's like half as big. And if I rename it to .gz, no? Oh, well? Huh. Oh, well, I guess it's not really an archive. It's just compressed using the gzip compression method. So it becomes a binary. But it's not really an archive. That makes sense. Let's try a bigger one. Let me open a bigger campaign. So if I open Act 1, this campaign, I think, is about over a meg. That happened very fast. The gravity file is now 449K. 450K, right? Compared to, what are the actual files? The actual files are 1.1 megabytes. So I get about a 2-to-1 compression with gzip. 1 meg is not a bad target, though, for this big campaign. A 1 meg file, I think, is very easy to transport around. That's smaller than, God, that's got to be smaller than 99% of all web pages. a picture from your phone has got to be 5 or 6 megs. A single music file is going to be 5 or 6 megs. This is nothing. So I don't really need to compress it, I don't think. So let's just do this. We'll save it as plain text. But we'll still call it a gravity file, because why not? That'll be fun. So we'll delete that, we'll delete that. Try the export one more time. Now it is 1.1 megabytes. And if we open that file right here, look at that. All right, that works fine. So then the next thing is, I need to write import campaign. And this is a little bit more, it's a little bit more tricky to write the importer, because I need to go from separator to separator to figure out where the files begin and end. But that's okay. So what I'll do for the import method is basically import campaign, and then what did I call it? Import file name. And this import method is going to do open the import file, read the first line to get the campaign directory, check if the directory already exists, create the directory, then read meta to the next separator and save it, and then read each level and save it. So I'll just read line by line until I hit a separator. And the first line after the separator is always going to be the level name, except for this first one, where it's going to be the meta.config file. And then I just write those files back into the campaign structure in the level save folder. Should be pretty simple. That should be pretty simple. I don't think that'll be difficult to do. But I'm not going to do it right now. I got to go. I hope this hasn't been too boring. I know watching a guy write code for importing and exporting files is not the sexiest thing in the world. Thanks, Valiant. I don't know. One thing I like about Godot is that it gives you all these functions to do all this stuff, and you don't have to invent it all yourself. The standard library is actually really good, and I mean, it's got all the stuff you would need: file, storing lines, storing strings. That should be, yeah, that's fine. Store strings. Store line, store string, store line. It has all the stuff for doing, what do you call it? String manipulation of paths. It's got all the stuff for doing compression, even if you wanted to do compression. So it makes this pretty easy, and I love that about Godot. The text effects are available here. Go to the Asset Lab and search for ridiculous. And there it is. It's a add-on that I created. And it installs here in the add-ons folder of whatever project you're working on. And then this runs in the editor, and you can see how that all works. But like, there's a scene for the explosion, for example. Right? This is the explosion scene. It's got a sound. And you can do things like, you can just turn down the volume or turn off the volume for the explosions if you wanted to, or change the effect. There's a animated sprite, and there's a, all the different things. Is when you type, this is what happens. It's got a little particle emitter, so you can customize it and do whatever you want with it once you've downloaded it. Yeah, and then you can annoy people like I annoy people. All right, so yeah, I'll probably write this off stream and then tie this all together with the UI. The other thing I need to do, obviously, is add an import button and export button instead of having it do it here. I don't want it to do it here. This is just for testing. So I need an import button and export button on the UI. Yeah, and then I just need to think about, is this really how I want to do it? I think this is how I'm going to do it. Because my original plan was to do like a whole level browser, an online server, you know, blah, 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 blah. But that's so much work, and I just don't know if anybody's going to use it. So I'm going to do this as a first pass, and if it gets complicated, then I can adapt this to save it to a server instead of to a file. Or do both. So this work isn't throwaway. It would be something I could still use, even if I changed where I'm saving the files at some point. The other thing I kind of wanted to look into is, I don't know if Godot lets you manipulate a image. I'll have to look into that separately. But if there was like an image format where this could write out like a JPEG or a PNG, and you can save a PNG. So I could save a PNG, and does this have meta? I might be able to write some stuff that would save the PNG and then actually take this level text and put it inside the PNG file. And then you could just post an image somewhere or share these images around, kind of like how Pico 8 does it, where they have cartridges that are just images, and you load the image and it's the game code, everything, it's in the image. That would be cool. But this will do for now. All right. I'm going to go. Thanks for dropping in, everybody. Oh, a pack. Okay, yeah. So maybe that would be another way to go. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for dropping in. I'll see you next time. Probably going to stream again Thursday morning and Saturday again. And have a good week, everybody. Catch you later.